That was extremely vivid. You must have some crazy hallucinations.
I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe I just didn't actually happen. I just thought it happened. I don't
Like,
know.
I mean, I've done acid, so I can tell, like, like I thought maybe it was like a slow kind of zoom in where like your eyes are tricking you, but like it never actually ends up in a place. That just microscopically zoomed into the fibers of your hat. And you're like, am I just high?
Yeah, if people don't know, Zoom, the program Zoom has hand gestures, and one of them makes your face zoom in, and I didn't know how to do it again, so I thought it may not have happened, but we figured it out. There it goes.
Nice.
You know what else is funny? I don't know if you have to use like Microsoft Teams or anything like that at your work.
I have to take care of Microsoft Teams.
Perfect. Do you know you ever see like the audience view or whatever it's called? It's what is it called? It's not, you know how they have like normal gallery.
Presenter mode or
No, there's a view where you look like you're all sitting in the same room, but they just take this instead of having like boxes, they like put you at like fake chairs. It's fucking hilarious. I was dying.
interesting.
It was like, oh, what's it called? But yeah,
Who turned this on?
it's on
No, but
what's
but who at your work would turn that on?
me. It's not for everyone. It's only for my computer screen. I'm just looking at everyone as if we're sitting around a like King Arthur's round table. But it's
That's
funny
a
because I'm taking screenshots and I'm sending everyone like, that's in the actual meeting. Because like some meetings, people just want to have a meeting. Like we don't need to talk about this. Is an email. We don't need to. So
oh
I
oh
fucking make fun of
brother.
shit all the time.
You don't have to tell me that. At my company, I've never had so many meetings in my life. It is a sickness.
It's as soon as you get to a certain point of like management, it's like half your day ends up being meetings, and like maybe a third of your fucking week could actually need to be meetings. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Like one third of one day and of the entire week. Some days it's
Hmm.
just to call and be like, hey, next week we got to have the meeting that we're supposed to have on Wednesday on Thursday. Are you open for Thursday? And you're like, yeah, I'm open for Thursday. And then you get five other fucking people like, just send me an email and we'll say yes or no. Oh my God. We had a meeting about a meeting not that long ago.
Oh yeah. We give our boss so much shit. I've borderline made like a revolt.
You're like, no more meetings or we're out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's fun. Well, RJ, let's see if you can guess. Maybe since you're sick, I know you're not feeling well. RJ's a little down, a little feeling sick with the sniffles. Doesn't even want me to look at him. Actually, I looked at him for a bit. He looks curiously like Liam Neeson. But I want you to guess. Maybe you're psychic because of your sickness. Like maybe you know what we're talking about already today.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I was having a coughing fit.
Were you actually? Because that's funny.
I was, but I did hear you.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Dude, fucking who killed Mr. Rogers' rabbit?
Dude, you got it. There's Mr. Rogers had a rabbit and somebody killed him? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's in the lore, dude. Like his rabbit gets killed, so he goes berserk and insane and just hunts down demons who killed it, like ripping them in half and shit, and doing all. Or maybe that's the Doom guy. I confused the two.
No, you weren't. You were very close, but not very close at all. You weren't close.
Oh, oh,
We're talking about meteorites or asteroid impacts, meteorite impacts on Earth. Isn't that fun?
sure.
An elite team of private detectives.
What if balloons are aliens? Maybe that's the key component we're missing.
Cover-ups.
John's guilty.
Mysteries that need to be solved.
Maybe Mormons need mountains.
Richard, shut up.
Do you know anything about meteorites or anything like that? Do you know anything about that kind of stuff?
It killed all the dinosaurs, so they're racist against dinosaurs.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
I wouldn't have put it that way, but yes, you're right. They definitely did. A meteorite did for sure.
All the meteorites from Meteoria.
Meteoria. Oh my gosh.
That's where they come from, I'm guessing.
I'll tell you where they come from during the episode.
All right.
It's not Meteoria, but that I wouldn't even be surprised if that was a word because there's a lot of words that I did not know until I started reading this. But did you see there's one in Ohio, Pennsylvania this week, or I guess last week at this point? A meteorite?
It hit like
Well, yeah, I guess it would be more like a meteor. It didn't. People say they found chunks, so yes, I guess it's a meteorite. It hit, not a big one.
oh, how many dinosaurs did it kill?
Probably whatever one's in the vicinity of it because fuck dinosaurs. You know what? I'm with meteorites on this. I'm honestly a pretty like multicultural, all-inclusive Richard. Let's say that. But when it comes to dinosaurs, I'm with the meteor.
They aren't people. They literally aren't people. So
You don't
it
know
feels
that.
bad to say, but it's true.
I watched the show Dinosaurs by Jim Henson, and I'm beg to disagree.
That is one of the most horrifying shows that's ever.
Did you ever? Well, you must have been like a little kid when that was out.
Yes, I had some of the toys.
Not
I
the
distinctly,
mama.
yeah, I distinctly remember I had the baby toy
Yeah.
and it smelled really bad. I don't know why, but I have a very bad association, a
It was
sensory
probably because it
association
was
with
in
that
your
baby.
house and it was dirty and poor like you. That's why I didn't see.
Um, well, no, I mean you get used to that kind of smell. Like that's the thing. It's if anything, it was probably that it was just too clean,
Oh, that's what it
too,
was.
too new. Yeah,
You're like, what is this smell? It's Javex.
yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, no, there was a meteor fireball through the sky in Ohio. It's pretty cool, I think.
No shit.
Yeah, 6 feet in diameter, weighing about 7 tons. That's what they estimate it was. There's people out there now looking for fragments of it. The guy found a piece of meteorite that looks smaller than a baseball. I don't know if this is AI bullshit or if it's real that this guy found it, but it's cool if he did. I find it crazy.
Uh,
Sorry.
yeah, you never know. It's funny that you don't know what's real anymore.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard.
Now,
Well,
now it has you questioning whether or not a meteorite hit, even though we have like so much recorded evidence that meteorites are just normal.
yeah. But the problem is this whole episode is about actually, did a meteorite actually hit? Not the
Oh,
Ohio one. So a meteorite? Okay, so I had to kind of get this through my brain. So a meteorite's a space rock that reaches the Earth's atmosphere and survives the journey to the surface. So chunks of whatever comes from space that land on the ground, that's a meteorite. A meteor occurs when a meteoroid passes through the atmosphere, burning and disintegrating. So a meteor is what you see with like the fire, like a shooting star, I guess. And then there's a meteoroid, which was a word I didn't know. And a meteoroid is an asteroid or comet with diameters range from millimeters to centimeters that orbit in space. So little chunks of stuff that just don't make it into the atmosphere before they make contact with the atmosphere. So usually meteoroids are smaller chunks of asteroids, and asteroids are rocky or metallic bodies that orbit the sun or other gravitational source in space. They're
I choose not to believe in meteoroids.
I didn't even know they existed. So
Yeah, no, me neither. I think those are fake. There's no way. I just nothing can have that stupid of a name.
meteoroids are usually uneven in shape. So approximately 17,000 meteors fall to Earth in a year.
They sound like the name of like a dumb alien that is constantly foiled by Bugs Bunny.
You're right. What is that? What's that little alien dude that's in Bug? Is there an alien in Bugs Bunny? Or am I
That's from The
mixed?
Martian, but I wouldn't be surprised if his name was Meteoroid.
Meteoroid Martian?
Yeah. Yeah.
Marvin Meteoroid's like his kid. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It does sound. It sounds fake. It sounds like what a cartoon. You're right. A cartoon would name an alien.
Yeah.
Anyways, so approximately 17,000 meteors fall to Earth each year. Most of them don't survive anything bigger than millimeters in size, coming in as dust after breaking up through the Earth's atmosphere. And they're happening daily, which I kind of knew. I didn't really kind of get. I didn't think about that, but yes, it's all the time happening. We just don't see it because they're so small. Once a year, there'll be a car-sized asteroid trying to make it through the atmosphere, usually ending up something smaller than a baseball, if anything at all, like the guy in Ohio. So that's every year that happens. That's a lot to me. I didn't think it was that much. Once every 2,000 years or so, a meteoroid the size of a football field hits Earth and causes significant damage to the area. So That's every 2,000 years. And then once every few million years, we get an object large enough to genocide all the dinosaurs. So
I would love that.
if we could, yeah, like whatever are left. I don't even like the bones. Like, do you think a meteorite
Even if
just goes after the bones now?
no, I mean I wanted to kill people now, but
It's like nuking a place, except for nobody's responsible and everyone has to be
yeah,
like, that sucked. Instead of
yeah,
like
there's
fighting each
nothing.
other
Yeah,
more.
no,
Yeah, no one to blame.
yeah. It's like, oh, look at that. You weren't the most powerful thing.
Yeah, it's very,
Uh,
very humbling. You know what else is very humbling, which doesn't really have anything to do with this though, would be like a gigantic volcano eruption that would just kill everyone
yep,
off. That would be very humbling too, because
that
that
would
could
be pretty
happen.
good too. I just want Mark Zuckerberg to know that his skin is also flammable.
Yeah, I don't care how much fucking sunscreen you put on, dude, you're still burning up.
Yeah, yeah. I just they think they're so different, and it's like, how about I let you how about I show you a little film called Primate, and you hang out in a room with one of those things for a while,
Yeah,
because that would be awesome.
I haven't watched it yet. I want to so bad. So when these meteorites make it through the atmosphere, most of the time there's something to find, an impact crater or something, especially when they are the bigger ones, the ones that happen every couple thousand years, especially. There's a mystery that has to do with what most people think is a meteorite strike in Russia's sparsely inhabited Siberian
Oh,
taiga in 1908,
yep,
but there's
yeah,
no evidence of an impact crater at all. You know about this?
yes, yeah. Didn't it come up in a different episode we did?
It did. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah,
Uh, Whatever happened, meteorite impact or not, we do know there was a huge explosion. There's evidence of that. So what the mystery is here is what
they
was it?
right.
Just some sort of
Okay, I remember now.
explosion, meteor impact, or something much more fun, which we'll talk about later. Today we're going to talk about the Tunguska event. So yes, we actually talked about this before in the Tesla episode.
Yes, they thought he could be responsible for it.
We'll see why that was like our 10th episode, maybe. We'll
Yeah,
see why Richard's 10th episode research is a lot different than his nearly 100th episode research. And we're going to laugh at me from 3 or 4 years ago because I made easy, like a really hard mistake to make. Because, like, I shouldn't have made that mistake.
it's not often that people say they made a really hard to make mistake.
I've fucked up before. It's cool.
No,
Yeah.
I know. It's just very succinctly put.
The Tunguska event, as it is called now, was a huge explosion that went off in Siberia in 1908. Russians were aware of the explosion, but no one investigated it for about 20 years because of a civil war in Russia and the emergence of World War One. So Russia was actually pretty busy, too busy to go check it out. And by the time the scientists took a look into it, too much time had passed. Science thinks they know what happened now. Like I said, meteorite strike. But there's other theories. The truth is that no one actually knows what happened, and scientists are just going off best guesses. The only thing we really know is the explosion was huge. So at 7:17 a.m. on June 30th, 1908, a huge explosion happened over the sparsely populated eastern Siberian wilderness of Russia. Russia is the biggest country in the world. I'm sure you knew that. Remember when Rick didn't know that? He was like arguing with me that
No,
Canada
he
was.
didn't
That's right.
he
I did
didn't
that
think
backwards.
Russia was the biggest.
No, he thought America was bigger than Canada. That's what it was. I was like,
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
that's like
I was
no.
gonna say, like, I would expect somebody who's a sleeper cell from Russia to know exactly the square mileage of Russia.
Russia's like, I realize I know Russia's big, but like I never really looked at it. Like I learned a lot about Russia, so I knew it spanned two continents, Europe and Asia. But like it's so big that the Europe part of it is the biggest country in Europe, and the Asian part of it is the biggest country in Asia. That's fucking crazy. I didn't know it's the biggest country in two different
Yeah,
continents.
and they've done fuck all with it.
Yep. It is mostly this fucking wasteland shit that I'm talking about here. Like,
Yeah, but think of how cool it could be if, like they kept the gulags open and they made people work out in those wastelands and stuff. And like you just had whole generations of people who were born in the gulags and knew nothing else.
It's funny that you say that because in Siberia is where all the gulags were, and that's where they had all their torture camps, I guess, basically, like in the worst, most inhospitable place in the world, like one of the most inhospitable places in the world. So yeah,
Yeah,
most
they're just not as tough anymore.
yeah, they can't even take out fucking Ukrainians.
No,
Uh,
exactly. They've gotten soft in their lack of
they're like little
torture and prison
pierogies,
lifestyle. Yeah.
little pierogies now. Ukrainians are making them their little pierogies. Fuck Russia. But yeah, Russia, most of its population is in the European side of the country, everything west of the Ural Mountains. Everything east of the Ural Mountains accounts for 75% of Russia's landmass, though. So most of their population's in 25% of the. I guess it's kind of the same for Canada.
All all huddled in around the proverbial fire of civilization.
The sickle's really warm here.
Yeah.
Siberia is the most sparsely populated and desolate place, one of the most desolate places in the world. In 1908, Siberia had a population of less than 4 people per square mile. I think it was 3.7 people per square mile in 75% of Russia. That's
Let's
fucking,
go.
that's nothing.
Let's go.
Siberia is covered in a type of high latitude snow forest, which is called taiga. Taiga's ground stays frozen in the winter, and in the summer it turns like a big ass swamp. So it's really hard to live in. It's a really harsh place to live. Not lots of people live there, like I said. The explosion of the Tunguska event has been estimated as being anywhere from 3 megatons to 30 megatons. So, as a comparison to that, the Fat Man bomb that was dropped in Nagasaki had a yield of 0.021 megatons.
Yeah.
And it's called Fat Man. I did enjoy that. I knew that, but I did enjoy that fact.
It's Fat Boy and Little Man.
No, it's Fat Man, Little Boy.
Or no, because Fat Man's the
Maybe I'm wrong.
maybe no, I thought Fallout made a portmanteau of it.
No, it's Fat Man and Little Boy.
Oh, so they just took it outright.
Yeah, Little Boy was even smaller, which was 0.15 megatons. Which, like, if that's 3 to 30 megatons, that Tunguska event, that's crazy. That's huge. This
Also,
is,
those things killed so many people and they have the most whimsical names.
yeah.
Like as if it's like a fucking like vaudeville show.
Here comes the Fat Man, followed by Little Boy. Or I guess the opposite.
And and they've incinerated 5 million Japanese.
Oh, those Japanese. Look at them run. They usually never run from anything. Not from Fat Man and Little Boy. They're running all night long. Kamikaze bastards. All right. Yeah, the Tunguska happened in the Siberian Tiaga, so the death toll was reportedly 3, like literally 3, which I find crazy for a giant explosion like that. But if that's how low population it is, cool.
That's awesome.
The explosion was so big that it flattened 2,150 kilometers squared or 830 miles squared of Taiga. They did make sure to mention, like, I know there's only 3 deaths, but like 80 million trees died in that explosion. I was like, okay.
Damn.
830 square miles is the size of Clatsop County in Oregon. So I was like, look, I looked up what is 830 square miles in size, and the only thing that came up was Clatsop County. So I looked at it on a map, and like just to kind of get scale, here you go. It's literally like it doesn't even look that big. I'm like, okay, it flattened like
It's Oregon?
yeah, the smallest corner of the top of Oregon. Like, okay, cool. In real life, I bet you that's lots, but just
What's
looking at
the
that,
area?
the area of 830 square miles.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, but it doesn't look huge on a map. If you look at it on a map,
Well, nothing on a map looks fucking huge. New York looks like the size of my thumb.
that's true. That is very
What
true. Actually.
are you just learning object permanence?
That's not what I mean. I'm just saying, like, for it to be that big,
The zooming. It zoomed in and you did that. That's so comical.
Oh my god.
It did it, and you were like, "Where did I go?"
Oh my God. I'm just saying, I thought 30 megatons would be like a quarter of America size, you know what I mean? But nah, it's not even like a 50th of Idaho or Ohio or whatever the fuck this is.
Well, America's huge.
That's true.
That one little county in Oregon is the same size as the pedophile nation of France.
Is France only 830 square miles?
No, it's probably bigger than that, but I don't respect them, so it feels smaller in my heart.
Okay, I was gonna say that would have been a lot more fun to compare to than Clatsop County, but
Yeah.
at the epicenter of the blast, trees and animals were obliterated. And when I say animals, I mean reindeer. They were saying there's reindeer carcasses burnt up everywhere, which not at the epicenter, but like further out, which is kind of I don't know why that sounds badass. It just sounds like someone bombed the North Pole and there's no
Maybe it is what
reindeer
happened.
left. Maybe it is what happened. Maybe it's a theory. Miles out from the epicenter, trees were burnt and bent backwards like a cartoon. Like it just like it's as if like someone lit up a cigarette with a dynamite in it and it exploded and how it like splits backwards with the smoke.
Yeah.
So
That's
it
awesome.
looks cartoonish. There's only a few people that witnessed the destruction from afar. Most people that lived in the Siberian Taiga were the Evenki people. The Evenki live in the northern taiga of Russia in huts made of bark and animal hides. They live off the land. They're like the native people of that area. And there was also a small Russian settlement near the Tuskunga event in the hilly part of Lake Baikal called Vanavera. And I say near, but you could see the event for over 150 square kilometers, like 500 square miles or whatever, like ish. So you could see it from so far away. So most of the people that were in that town were just farmers, trappers, and hunters. It wasn't like it was mostly a trapping little town, little trade town.
What if it actually killed way more people? What if it killed like the Wakanda of Russia?
Yeah, it was like, yeah, they're doing some sort of like test on a new weapon or something. They blew themselves up.
Yeah.
That's the end of it. Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, they had like nobody knew about them because they had like force fields and invisible shields and all that stuff, but
It's a fun explosion theory. Like, it's pretty good.
yeah.
Witnesses from the Evenki and the Russian settlement had quite a bit to say about the event. Descriptions start before they even see the explosion. It started when they saw a light move across the sky, leaving a thin trail of light behind it. I guess a comet. And then a blue green colored comet was moving in the northwest direction. Then, far on the horizon, they saw a flash, and then a big cloud formed behind the blue fireball. And suddenly, through it, flies a red cylinder down onto the ground, which makes it sound fucking crazy. The sky lit up in a reddish pinkish glow, and a pillar of red light split, followed by complete darkness. 10 minutes later, there were multiple big loud booms that sounded to the Russian settlers like artillery fire. It wasn't one big bang, it was like a bunch of like bam, bam, bam. And then the sound came with a shockwave that knocked people off their feet like 1,500 kilometers away. One of the settlers say that the air hit him from the shockwave. It was super hot, it felt like his clothes were on fire. And then the shockwave broke all this man's windows. This man got crushed under like a tree, and his wife had to like save him. And they hid back in the house. That was 60 kilometers away. So sorry, that was 60 kilometers away that way. That one. So that the explosion was fucking gigantic. Like even if it to me it looks kind of small on a map, it's fucking huge. The shockwave registered at seismic stations across Europe and Asia. Germany, Denmark, Croatia, and the UK felt airwaves from the blast. In some places, the shockwaves were equivalent to 5.0 on the Richter scale. And for the next few days, the skies of Europe and Asia were lit up. People in Sweden and Scotland were taking photos in the middle of the night without the help of flash bulbs. I guess the dust thrown into the atmosphere from the event had made a noctilucent clouds that were lighting up the skies for miles. It was like ice crystals, I guess, were making the dust and it was reflecting off the sun on the other side. It was lighting up the skies for days, which I find crazy. Newspapers in Siberia reported on this event. The paper was from a city called Tomsk, and the newspaper was called Siberian Life, and it's just like nothing inside of it because there's no life in it's just a bunch of reindeer. That'd be awesome. Siberian life with just reindeer pictures. Anyways, the story that was in it told about a train. It had stopped after seeing a fireball fly overhead. And after the train stopped, all the passengers got out and found an impact crater. And the paper goes on to say that no one, like, they saw a meteorite. It was super hot in the ground, like red hot, and no one wanted to pick it up. So they just left it there, and everyone got back on the train and, like, rode away. And that was, like, the story in Siberian life, which it doesn't sound It sounds like a Tales from the Crypt episode. It sounds like something that would be a one-off and like an anthology from the 80s. Like, super embellished and super unrealistic. Just missing like the
Yeah.
element of like an alien being beside it and scaring them back onto the train. And that was the end of it. But yeah, so that was basic reporting. There was other little reports here and there of like hearing stuff or seeing lights in the sky, but this was the biggest, longest story that somebody was like, "We saw it, man, on the train, dude." So in 1908, the Russian government was in flux, lots of wars going on. The Russo-Japanese War just finishing, just ending, and the Russian Revolution was just beginning. And then as that starts, World War One breaks out. So like nothing, Russians don't really give a shit about a fucking meteorite at this time. They're just getting their leaders assassinated left, right, and center, really. So no one's checking in on this explosion. Until 1921, when a guy named Leonid Kulik read an old newspaper clipping talking about the fire in the sky and some loud bangs. He found that Siberian Life article, and he started getting curious about this. He started looking more and more into this, and he found more and more reports with different details, but he knew he was onto something. He knew that the Siberian Life story was crazy, but it's all around the same time, and something definitely happened. And Kulik had just gotten a job in 1920 at the Mineralogical Museum in St. Petersburg. So he was a scientist, a geologist, I guess. So in 1921, the Academy of Sciences asked him to find and examine meteorites that had fallen to Earth. That was his job. So that's why he was looking into it. That's why he's decided, like, oh, maybe I'll go check this one out. And I find this is a funny part of the story. Russia was really pushing him to go look for meteorites, not because, like, they kept saying it was to like expand our knowledge of extraterrestrial rocks, but in reality, they wanted the iron that comes from meteorites because it was worth a lot. Like they were just that desperate
Hell
for
yeah,
money.
brother.
It's like they're on a side quest. Like we need to get a couple extra bucks so we can buy this new sword. Can you go find us a meteorite? It doesn't sound real.
It's free metal, dude.
Free.
God gave it to them.
It just sounds like a side quest on Skyrim. Go find me a meteorite. I'll make you the best sword in the game.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, Kulik went to work immediately looking for meteorite impacts in Russia. And this is how he came to the Siberian Life article. So, with the discretion, I don't know what the word is, of the Russian government, he heads to the sparsely populated Taiga to survey the area where he suspected his meteorite had hit. He starts by interviewing a bunch of people in the area about what they saw about like 12 years ago. This is where we get the descriptions of what happened. He interviews some Evenki people and some Russian settlers. He wanted to get a guide to bring him up to where the explosion was said to have happened. The Evenki people said they knew where it happened, but refused to bring Kulik up there. The Evenki thought that the impact area was a place that was like smited by their god. And like, I don't know, we don't want to get cursed, dude. Our god Agdi cursed that area. We're not going up there. Fuck you. So no one brought him up. Kulik, being in the newly formed communist regime of his fucking country, runs out of money and time real fast and decides he has to head back to St. Petersburg without ever even seeing where he thought the impact crater was. Soon as he gets back to the government building where he probably had blank walls and not even a desk, he probably worked on the floor. He was begging for more money to go back to find this fucking meteorite. Look at all the evidence I have. The people are scared. There's got to be something. So Kulik gets his way in 1927, convinces the Academy of Sciences to fund another expedition. I don't know. Here's some meteoric iron. We can get you iron, I promise. Still used the greed of the government to get his funding. This time he brought money and found some Evenki people who were willing to bring him up there for a little bit of money. This is like, of course, people aren't going to go up there unless you pay them, dude. There were no roads. They rode up to the northern wilderness in a horse-drawn sleigh. Once they got north enough, they had to trade their horses for reindeer to get further into the Snowden forest. That's how, like, do you still want to move there? You need a reindeer, dude.
To Siberia?
Yeah, to where you need a fucking reindeer to get where you need to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you know how much more I'd rather have a reindeer than a fucking Honda HRV?
You know what? I didn't even think of it that way, but that's actually kind of true. You get to have a buddy and a way of travel.
Listen, there's no doubt it's gonna be miserable, but like we're all already so miserable. Wouldn't you love to have a sensical reason other than just like hating yourself on the inside? It'd be so great to be too. It's like I can't think of that. My reindeer just broke its fucking leg, and now I have to kill it with my bare hands.
Why do you have to do it with your bare hands?
Well, because it's desolate out here, dude. We don't have guns.
All I have is this reindeer, a tent, and some cans of tuna. I'm gonna die
You
up
said
here.
it was the fucking mud bark houses.
It's true. You have a mud park house.
Yeah, you know how long it takes to kill a reindeer with a piece of bark?
Yeah, that's true.
Way easier to try and strangle it.
That's true. Once you get up there and you get your reindeer, and then it gets to be summer, it gets to be all muddy and swampy. So like it's even more fun. It's like nice and cozy.
Oh God, and we all like fucking what's the name of that horse in Never Ending Story?
I don't remember. I haven't thought of that in
It's like
10 years.
Artax or like something like that.
I don't remember. It's gone. That one's erased. I erased that one for like other things.
Well, yeah, you'd lose like a reindeer a year in that same exact way.
Yeah. Oh God.
And it's Siberia, so like of course they're gonna be sad. They can't not be sad. So obviously the sadness swamp will swallow them every time they enter it.
You're not wrong. So they get closer and closer to where the impact is, using their reindeer for fucking guide, and they got to get there before the swamps takes them. So as they start getting closer, Kulik notices that the tops of the trees are burnt off. And then when he finally does pinpoint where the impact happened, they notice there was no crater at all. There was nothing there, though. There was just a massive swath of deep winter forest, was just like obliterated. Bunch of knocked over and uprooted trees. Nothing stood. What they found was a zone that was about 8 by 5 miles across, where the trees were scorched and devoid of branches. It kind of looked like a telephone. Like there were still some trees that had like they looked like telephone poles. Trees that were further from the center had been partially scorched and bent over, like I said, like fucking cartoon. Kulik examined the area further and found holes what he thought were impact craters in the area just south of the devastated forest, which they call the Great Swamp. It's the best swamp out there. It's great.
Yeah, it's gotta be big enough to swallow reindeer.
Yeah, it's pretty great. He finds nothing on the surface of these impact craters, but he thought maybe it was like buried, like the Siberian Life article. It's been 12 years. Maybe it just got sucked in by the swamp. So this time he doesn't have tools to excavate anything. And so he had to leave because summer was coming. So he just leaves with his research. He just took a couple pictures, I guess, but like never really got anything. And over the next 10 years, there's 3 more expeditions. In 1938, Kulig arranges some aerial photographs of the area. They figure out exactly the size of the blast. You figure they probably would have wanted done that first, but whatever. They didn't take photos in the 20s during the second exhibition. There's a very slim window when the weather permits working safely. So between snow flying and complete thaw, so the swampy areas made the surveying hard for them, I guess. So it took 10 years just to survey the area. They did go back and excavate the hole that Kulig thought was an impact site that he thought maybe buried. And he found something in there. It was just a giant tree trunk that got sucked into the swamp. There was no meteorite at all. Nothing to do with meteorites. And
Interesting.
in 1939, it was the last time Kulik went to the Great Swamp to excavate and search more. He never found any evidence of a meteorite crash anywhere, not even like a bit of anything. He planned to go back in the 40s in 1940, but some guy named Hitler started a war in Europe, and Russia was prepping for war in the summer of 1940. And then Kulig joined. I don't know if he joined the army. He seemed like a fucking scientist to me, but I feel like he joined the army with quotation marks. And then by 1941, he was injured and captured by the Nazis. And then in 1942, he died in a Nazi prison camp. So that was the end of him.
Damn.
No further expeditions were undertaken until well after World War II, not until the 50s. And it wasn't until the 60s until they figured out the actual size of the blast, like from the aerial photos and surveying. And as I mentioned earlier, it was 830 square miles in size. But if you look at it from the aerial photographs, the blast zone kind of looks like a bird with its wings spread out wide. The wings,
A dragon.
a dragon. This is more like Skyrim every time we talk about this. The wingspan was 70 kilometers or 43 miles, and the body was 34 miles. And it wasn't until the 90s that they let foreign scientists investigate the region. So it wasn't just like full blown Russian propaganda anymore. Like people could go there and like look at one and figure it out themselves. In the 90s, the soil and tree samples were taken. And in the soil and trees around the impact site, they find microscopic traces of iron, nickel, and magnetite. And the only explanation for those being where they were that they were extraterrestrial in origin. So there was some sort of impact or something there. And then based on the radiation levels and the composition of these microscopic pieces of the meteorite, that also backed it up that it came from space. But since it'd been so many years that it actually been researched, what actually happened isn't actually known. But there's lots of theories. So I can go through them, or unless I know you have a couple theories. You've already thrown out a couple. Wakanda based, Russian Wakanda base, or
Well, that's
Wakanda
that's
esque.
that's a fact. That's not one's not a theory. We can do the theories and then the facts. I don't want to touch on such a horrible tragedy so lightly. You
That's
know,
true. It happened in
but
1908. It's been a long time.
Tunguska forever.
Oh yeah, it came. It did it. All right, so we'll just talk about the most popular. How about this? I'll give the ones that sound likely. I like. I do this. I go forward. I do this. I go back.
Amazing.
Yeah, the most likely. I'll do most likely ones to like least likely, and then you can do facts at the end. That sounds good. This is great that we're. And before I get into the theories, I'm just going to say it. Like, I purposely did this episode because I'm wrapping up Private Dicks. Like, I think it's over after episode 100. We're done. So I'm trying to do all the episodes that I wanted to do. And I mentioned Tuscunga in the Tesla thing. So, like, I wanted to touch on it before the end of the show. So, like, the next couple episodes are going to be, like, probably stuff that I've wanted to do.
Hastily wrapping up the plot points of the series.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this how you're letting people know? You're devastating both of our remaining listeners, Richard.
There are many dozens, RJ. Oh God. Yeah, because I've been a lot of people around here listen, and I've been telling people like, I'm gonna end it soon. I got something else I want to do. And then everyone's like, "Are you serious?"
And they're all like, "Yeah, I knew he was gonna kill himself."
Anyway, so this is episode I really did because the most popular the reason I did this is because Tesla. We're gonna get to Tesla theory. It's one of the last ones. The most popular theory is that the object that caused the Tunguska event was a low density asteroid. And this theory explains much of the data collected over the years. It accounts for the lack of meteorite material and those mysterious upright trees in the forest near the blast site. So it was believed to have been about 120 feet across and weighed 22 million pounds. And it would have had to flown into Earth's orbit at about 33,500 miles per hour. But instead of it heading right into orbit, it kind of like hits like a flat stone on a pond at such an angle that it caused drag through the upper atmosphere, causing a huge fireball. And this is the initial light that the Venki people reported seeing. And then when the asteroid eventually gives into gravity, it rips through the atmosphere. And since it was such a low density meteoroid, it would have been able to withstand the immense heat and broke up into dust before it could impact the Earth's surface. But when it exploded, the explosion could have been up to 500 times stronger than the atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima, which that's in theory, and then that's how they guessed that it would have been that big. And it would have looked like a nuclear explosion from far away. The pressure from the airburst would have come from above and descent vertically, and this would have caused the stripping of the trees below the blast, but leaving them standing looking like telephone poles. The pressure would then disperse horizontally, knocking over all the trees along the path of the raw power, much like how we saw the trees around the blast uprooted completely or bending backwards like a cartoon. So that's what scientists have got with now. It was not like a lot of iron. It was a lot of like water and stuff that could bust up easily through the atmosphere, but still cause a huge explosion.
This
So
is kind of like if thunder is God bowling, this was God's hangover shits.
sure. Yeah, why not? I like that. So that's the fact number 3. God's hangover shits. God. Second theory. So that's the main one where everyone thinks it's an asteroid. It just came in such an angle that it made a huge explosion but never made it to ground. Cool. Theory number 2. The blast came from below rather than up high. So astrophysicist Wolfgang Kunt
No,
Kundt Kunt.
that you could have changed it to anything, brother.
No, I couldn't have.
Not you, poor Wolfgang.
Oh yeah, okay. I was like, no, this is perfect for
You,
me.
you had a whole life to become an astrophysicist before actually being one that you could have done anything about that. Like,
Wolf,
nope, I'm gonna leave it up until my name starts getting publicized.
I bet you this guy was a doctor, Doctor Kunt,
Yeah.
Doctor of Astrophysics, Kunt. Oh, so fun. I don't know why that makes me so happy. Dr. Kunt proposed that the Tunguska event was caused by the release and subsequent explosion of 10 million tons of natural gas from within the Earth's crust. Basically, his theory says that the natural gas leaked from the crust the Earth's crust into the air, up into the atmosphere. The gas would have formed 3,000 kilometers underground, and the natural gas would have been stored as a fluid. And as it reached the surface, it would have expanded, becoming gas, expanded by thousands in volume. Then eventually, the thick stream of natural gas gets it to an ignition source, like lightning, in the air, and then the fire runs back down the gas, following the so-called wick of natural gas until it explodes when it hits the liquid natural gas on the ground. Problem with this is that literally nothing on the ground exploded. Like it would have to be all in the air for this to be, so it would have been like perfect timing. That's one problem. I'm sure there's lots of problems. I'm not a doctor of astrophysics, though. I am not a Dr. Cunt. I'm just a cunt. Oh my God, drinking coffee does it. All right,
You need like a slide whistle sound.
as
Yeah.
these theories go, they get more and more ridiculous. So the primordial black hole theory is the next one. So in 1973, a physicist based in the University of Texas suggested that the Tunguska event could have been caused by a primordial black hole passing through the Earth. This would
Lead
explain.
researcher, Dr. Taint. Research assistant, David Gooch.
uh, Taint and Gooch said that it could have been caused by a primordial black hole passing through the Earth. This would explain the lack of an impact crater and the big blue-green light that the villagers claim to have seen. The black hole theory, like, is just that. It's a theory. Like, they don't really have any evidence to back it up. Like, there's a lot of things wrong with this one. Like, where's the other end of the hole? Usually black holes suck into something. Like, it would leave a lot of damage. And why didn't it suck the rest of the world in? Like, primordial black holes are a hypothetical black hole formed within the first few seconds after the Big Bang, created by gravitational collapse of extremely dense early universe hot material rather than the big normal ones that are caused by stellar evolution. So, due to quantum effects, smaller primordial black holes are predicted to have evaporated over the past 13.8 billion years, while the more massive ones may still exist. So, like, they don't even think these ones have been around for 13.8 billion years, but they could just pop up every once in a while, I guess, near Earth. And when I say these are small, I mean like black holes the size of Everest. And when I say massive, I mean entire star systems. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a scale thing. It's not small like these primordial black holes would have eaten Earth. So for this to have happened, we probably would have been hit way harder because little black holes are probably would eat us, like I said, and they're probably all gone according to quantum physics. So I don't know, this University of Texas, I didn't even know university could be in Texas, but apparently it is.
No, they are. They teach you how to tie a knot to put it around a black person's neck at those schools.
Oh yeah, they definitely do.
And other like tech stuff or whatever. But the racist stuff mostly.
Oh God. No, it was Alabama. I was gonna say, did Brisker go to Texas? Nobody went to Alabama. Still same thing.
Who's that?
John Brisker, the basketball player that said everyone.
Right. I was like, why does that sound familiar? It's because it's a thing we talked about for 2 hours once.
The primordial black hole is kind of dumb. The next theory is the Russian nuke program was 20 years early or 30 years early. So theory goes that the Russians already developed some sort of nuclear program. Either it was a test bomb that went off in the Tiaga or it was an accident while experimenting. The Siberian forest would be a good place to conduct tests if it was a test, far away from civilization. It also kind of explains why the Russians would put off looking into this for 12 years or whatever. But yeah, why? Not really, but it's what they say. I think they would have known about it then. If they wouldn't need to research into it, they would have known about it for 20 years. But anyways,
Mm.
radiation levels don't match an atomic blast, and like I said, timeline doesn't match either. It'd be like another 30 years before the actual atom bombs were going off, and the Russians would have used that way earlier in history if they had the bomb in 1908. Like they were going through World War One, a fucking civil war.
Maybe they tried to, but it was like the nuclear bomb equivalent of dropping a gun and it going off. You know what I mean? Like
I
they
don't
just
think
fumbled their nuclear bomb and then didn't want anybody to know about it because they only
okay,
had one.
maybe I just didn't think nuclear physics worked like that. I thought once you split an atom, like it's pretty fucking big and like it would leave a certain radiation level. Like maybe
How do
not.
you know? You've never been there.
I'm not a doctor cunt. Like I said.
Russians fucking love radiation and accidents, dude.
Yeah,
They get down with that like crazy.
that's why they want the Ukraine back. Didn't
Yeah, they're sad. They want to bathe in the radiation.
isn't that where that it wasn't that actually in Ukraine? Ukraine? Like I guess it was Russia at the time, but the
Hey, it will always be Russia.
oh, my bad. Sorry, Russian overlords who are listening to this. One of the dozens of
Yeah.
you.
Tunguska forever, comrade. Never forget.
Yeah. All right, we're getting into the more fun theories now. So, theory number whatever, Nikola Tesla's death ray. So this is where you can laugh at me a bit if you'd like. So, like I said, I mentioned this in the Tesla episode, how Tesla said he had a death ray and he tested it. And then I said that he probably tested it in Serbia when Tesla was visiting Serbia about the time that it happened. But yeah, it didn't happen in Serbia. It happened in Siberia, you moron, Richard. Like, those are two different places, Richard.
Nah, nah, that none of it matters.
It's- People do say this though because it's a theory because Tesla claimed that he was working on a death ray or teleforce as he called it, and then he said he could be used as an anti-war device, and it would have been designed to destroy enemy aircraft from 250 miles away. So like this is Tesla talking about this in the 30s. In 1908, maybe he would have had it, but knowing Tesla, like honestly, he could have had a thing called a teleforce. Who the fuck knows? Because like we all know that when Tesla died, all of his files were taken in by Donald Trump's uncle and just said, nah, there's nothing good in there. But who the fuck knows? There might be a teleforce out there. He might have exploded a Siberian fucking or a Serbian Tiaga in 1908. Who the fuck knows?
Maybe.
Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. I feel like if he had a teleforce, we would have seen it being used in the past 100 years, but maybe not. And the last theory, which it's not the last theory, it's the last one I felt like writing about, and I didn't really write that much. But the last theory, which everyone always loves to turn to when they can't explain something, is what is it, RJ?
The Jews?
Aliens.
Oh,
I love how we said our answers at the same time. Some might say they're the same thing if you're.
yeah. I mean, I don't agree. It just is a thing that people gravitate to.
Yeah, no, it was. I didn't see that anywhere that it was the Jews. Our next episode is going to be blamed on the Jews, which is fun because it happens all the time. But this one, it was aliens. People say it must have been an alien landing, alien spacecraft, alien something, because otherwise we can't explain it. So if it's not hard to explain, it's aliens, like every other thing. I do like that. It's aliens. But I shouldn't even take any credit of this. You've come up with some facts, which I like a lot. The first fact of the day, and correct me if I'm wrong, add more facts that you added during the day, but meteorites are racist towards dinosaurs.
Oh yeah,
Fact.
yeah, we
That
know
was a
that.
fact. Russian Wakanda, but blew itself up by accident testing fusion or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
And what was the other? There was three facts. I can't remember the third one anymore, but
fuck, dude, I don't remember either.
that's okay. The two first ones are the best ones anyway.
Yeah,
So I like that. I think we should just go with Wakanda blew themselves up. Wakanda or Tunguska forever. And
okay. I like telling the truth.
me too. Good. Good. Isn't that nice?
Yeah,
All right. Well that's the episode, RJ. Tunguska. What'd you
nice.
think of that? Did you expect that?
No, but it makes sense that we are in the nearing the series finale. You're gonna want to frantically sew up all the dangling threads.
Yeah, I promise you the finale is going to be better than the Game of Thrones finale.
Oh, I was hoping it would be bad.
You like the Game of Thrones finale?
No, 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 no. I was hoping it would be like that. It would be just
Oh,
as bad as Game of Thrones finale. Because then at least people would be like, they'd be disappointed because they expected better of us. If it's supposed to be good, then that bar's too high.
this is episode 94. We're going to 100. There's 6 more episodes, everyone. 6 more. Then
Yeah,
it's
we're
over.
never gonna figure it out by then.
You don't know what we're doing next, RJ? I like to try and tell you
Um,
so you can see if you can remember. We're going to Norway.
sure.
So we're going to Norway. We're going all over. I'm trying to get mysteries from all over the world.
The
Have you noticed? The
the
last couple have
The
been
Norwegians.
the Norwegians.
What are those?
They're Norwegians.
Oh, okay. Why'd you say it's stupid?
Yeah, I'm not smart. I've never claimed to be smart. Actually pretty much tell everyone I'm not smart all the time. We're going to go to Norway and we're going to go investigate a lady called the Isdal woman. They don't know who she is. She had a bunch of gold teeth in her mouth, and that's pretty much all they found from her was a bunch of her gold ass teeth. Her face was all burnt
Gross.
up. It's 1970s. Russia might be involved. The Jews might be involved. Aliens might be involved. Who knows? It's going to be a good one. You're going to like it. The
That's
Isdal woman.
cool.
You're not going to remember that, which is the best part about this. Don't
I'm
remember.
committing it to memory right now.
What is it? Tell me now. You committed it to memory.
We're doing something about real dolls.
I just watched Private Dicks and I think RJ's the funniest.
What? Come on.